Hello and welcome back. Today we've got a car in for correction and coating, but first we need to get the decontamination stage out of the way. It's already been snow foamed, sorry I forgot to record that bit, but we're just going in here with a really stiff sponge that's actually made for cleaning soft tops, and we're just giving that a good old scrub. Now we're using these ultra soft detailing brushes to get in all the crevices, dislodge that dirt that may have been caught up there and sat there for years, ready to be blasted away with a pressure washer. And of course, as always, we're just getting in those door shuts with a bit of APC and that soft bristle brush, just dislodging any dirt ready to be moved away. And now it's on to the contact wash, of course using that soft microfiber wash mitt and the 2-bucket method. Next we hit the paintwork with fallout remover to dissolve and break down those embedded iron particles, making them easier to remove from the paintwork. Following the thorough rinse, it's now time to clay the vehicle. For those of you that don't know, the clay that I'm using is a mild abrasive and it grabs onto any embedded contaminants in the paintwork and removes them. The sort of stuff that you just can't get rid of with a normal contact wash. Now we're just giving the car a second soak in some snow foam, just to remove any residue left behind from those harsh chemicals that we've used in the decontamination stage. using the hot air blower to get rid of any trapped water, just so it doesn't run out and cause watermarks or interfere with the polishing or coating stage. Now the wheels are off the car, we can give them a really thorough clean. Now previously on this car, a CV boot had split and it had spewed loads of grease over the inside of this wheel. What I'm doing here is just spraying some tar and glue remover on it in the hope that this will do a good job at breaking it down. As you just saw, it didn't really do much. So I've got a jug with about 50-50 Surfex HG degreaser to boiling water, and I've got an old detailing brush. I'm not really too bothered about getting greasy. I'm just really scrubbing and getting all of that grease off. Welcome back to another video. Today we have got a 2004 VW Beetle Cabriolet and it's in gloss solid black, no metallic at all, and we've got to do a correction. It's as you would have seen, we've done the wash stage, decontamination, We've clay barred it, and as you would have seen, there was a lot that came off, especially this front section of the bonnet. I know that before it was bought, there was some paintwork done. You can just tell what bits have had work and what bits haven't. And sure enough, the wings and the front bumper, not much came off of because it was pretty fresh paintwork, but the bonnet was disgusting. I mean, it just turned that white built hammer clay, it just turned it brown. So we're going to do a correction, we're going to coat it. We've got to also dye the roof and protect that. So we'll be doing that, we've just got to wait for it to dry. So in the meantime, we'll get the correction started. We're going to be looking at probably a single stage correction just because of the time frame. But we'll have to look at that, whether it needs a heavier cut just to really get rid of some of those defects, or with it being quite a soft paint, we might get away with a medium cut. The main thing is whether it will need a finishing stage as well because of the nature of the paint. If you don't know what I'm going on about with this type of paint, darker paints in general show up more defects than lighter paints, and especially if they've got no metallic in them, they show up even more. And with this being black, the darkest the colours you can get, and with no metallic, it shows up everything. So you'll find if you go in with a heavier cut, a heavier stage of polishing, you're going to be putting in as much damage as you can take out in some respects. So you'll be looking behind a lot of hazing, micro swirls and stuff like that. So yeah, it's difficult, but we'll get through it. Right then. Let's have a look. Got the torch. Are you ready? Oh. Yep. As expected. Not good. With it being an 18-year-old car with solid black paint, as you can see, everything is hazed, swirled, scratched. You can see some deeper defects there. Yeah, so suppose let's try something out. I'm going to try a medium cut pad and a medium cut polish, so I'll get that sorted. Got a yellow Rupes pad on the 3-inch polisher. We've got some Koch Chemie F601. So they're medium cut polish. We'll just use this as a benchmark just to see where we're at and see if it makes a difference, and also what sort of state the paintwork's left in once we're done. So let's give it a go. Turn the machine all the way down. Well, straight away you can tell how soft that paint is. So we've done a test pass. I've used a Rupes yellow pad with Koch Chemie F06, I believe, the medium cut or light cut polish, should I say? And here's the results. So I'll get the light on it, and here's what we had before. Horrible, hazy, swirled, and that's what it's done. Now granted, it's not perfect, it's still hazed, but a lot of those heavier defects are gone, as you can see. I believe that with a super soft pad and some finishing polish we may be able to refine that further, so I'll have a go at that and then I'll report back to you. Test panel done. As you remember, that was what we were dealing with, and that is how it's come out. pretty much all of that haziness is gone. Still a few heavier defects, but like I said, we don't really have the time to be doing a heavy cut as well. So that was a medium cut with the yellow Rupes pad and a medium cut polish, and then we went in with one of these. So I tried to refine it first of all with a white Rupes pad, which is soft, and micro cut from Koch Chemie, but that was even too coarse. So then I gave it a pass with this. This is Lake Country Black polishing pad, and these things are just they're the softest pads I've ever come across. They're so soft. I used some micro cut. I did have this ready to go in case we needed it, but the micro cut was fine enough, and it just got rid of that hazing and any little micro swirls and really brought it up. Paint is just going to be so delicate when it comes to coating, because one wrong move with that cloth or anything like that, any bit of dust or dirt on the surface, and it's just gonna mar up like there's no tomorrow. So yeah, we know what we're doing now. Just time to crack on, get the rest of the car polished. So let's get on with it. The rear quarter is now done. Say done. First pass is done, so that medium cut is all done. I'll show you what we're dealing with. So there you go. That's the original. Yeah, very nice, swirled, sanding marks, haze, and I did go back over that. Like I said, there were some heavy defects there. See all these blotches, little dots? That's not dust. That's blemishes in the paint. Obviously had a few dodgy resprays or whatever. Don't know whether they're silicone spots or dirt in the paint or whatever. But yeah. Much better. That still hasn't been refined yet, so I mean, you can still see the cloudiness around the light. That's a bit of the hazing, but that should all come out with that finishing stage. So onto this door now. Move on to the front quarter, and yeah, let's carry on going. So you've just seen me there using the 1-inch polisher, and what I'm using this for is just to reach the areas that the bigger pads or the bigger machines can't reach, like the edges of panels, tight corners, around any obstacles such as the door handles. If you just use the bigger machines, we never reach these areas, and you'd be able to see the areas that hadn't been polished. I've just polished this area of the wheel arch, and I've used the 6-inch. A lot of you may be looking at it thinking, surely with that smaller area, the curves, it's going to be, if I had a 5-inch, maybe that, but a 3-inch sort of job. But actually, because of the curvature, the way it doesn't curve in, it curves outwards, you can just as easily use this. And what I've done is I've gone around the very edge with the 1-inch, just to get right up to that edge, and then you've got enough room to be able to manoeuvre the 6-inch and get all around here. And I find this being a longer throw machine, bigger pad, bit more powerful, you get more cut and also a better finish somehow. I don't know how, but I know we're going to be finishing it anyway, but it's nice to get as good a finish on that first pass anyway. So more power, more cut, better finish. May as well try and use this machine everywhere you can. Also, it's a bigger area, so you make your job quicker. You end up covering more ground and getting it done a lot faster. So obviously on a lot of normal shaped cars, this isn't a very normal shaped car, you wouldn't be able to use this as much, but where you get the chance, you may as well use it because it does make a difference. Now I've decided to two-stage polish the bonnet and the boot lid, as these areas catch the most light, and so they show some of the heavier defects that you wouldn't usually catch on other areas of the car. I'm using the Koch Chemie red heavy cut compound and Ruper's light wall pad, just because this gives good cut, but it's not quite as aggressive as the microfiber pad. I then followed this up with the normal medium cutting stage that we've been using on the rest of the car, and then of course the final finishing stage. Right then, good morning. It is 6:20, and today we're going to aim to get the finishing pass and the coating done, and also get the wheels coated as well. So I wanted to get an early start in to get it all done today. Finishing pass should hopefully go quite quickly, but we'll see how we go. So these super soft black finishing pads, I haven't got a 6-inch one. I've got 1-inch and 3-inch, so it's going to take a little bit longer, but it should be fine. So let's crack on. So I'm just using the car dryer to blow over the area that I've just polished, and this is just to remove any dust or dirt that may have settled on the area. Now I'm using the air blower and not the compressor, because the air blower is of course filtered, therefore it's just blowing clean air onto the surface and there's no dirt in that air. I first saw this technique used by White Details. Of course pretty much all of you will know who he is, one of the biggest detailers on this platform, so shout out to him. So we've gone in with this combo, the M3 Kochkemi. Now you'll see I've used all Kochkemi. I've really fallen in love with these compounds simply because of, well, not only the performance of the compound itself, but how sort of oily it is. It's they don't dust at all. I mean, obviously with the heavier cuts you do get a small amount of dust, but nothing crazy. And it's not like a dry dust either. And especially with this finishing compound, there's no dusting at all. I've been using, I started off using Cartec Refinish 12,000, and it's an amazingly soft and gentle finishing product, but I found with the Cartec polishes, they dust so much dust comes off them, and it's just a pain, especially when you're trying to do a finishing stage. You're trying to keep everything clean, and yeah, so I've moved back over to this. It might be a bit less gentle, but I seem to be getting away with it for now, and it's a lot more oily and just leaving a nice cleaner finish. So we're using this black, I think I said earlier it was Lake Country. I don't think it is. I think it's the Cartec one. I think they're Cartec. I can't quite remember. No, they are Lake Country. They are Lake Country. So yeah, here you can see we've done a pass there, and like I said, it's not taking that long at all. So hopefully by about midday we should have this all done, and then we can get on with the prep and coating. Now you may struggle to see this on camera, but you've just seen I've done half the bonnet there. And what we're really trying to rectify with this finishing stage is, if you can see, you see the haziness around the light, especially on those really far outer edges. And there's sort of micro swirls. See what I mean? They're inflicted by the cutting stage, so we've got rid of the heavier swirls caused by washing and other scratches, but you can see all of these really fine ones around the light. That's what this finishing stage is trying to get rid of. So now if we go over to the side that's been polished, you'll see they're gone. We're getting a clear reflection. Now those blemishes, I'm not quite sure what they are. They're present over pretty much all of the car. See these little dots? That's not dust, it's not metallic either, that's just blemishes in the paintwork. And I'm not really sure where they're from, but I'm just going to live with it. Under normal light you don't really see them. But yeah, that's the difference it makes. There's the side that's been polished, hasn't been polished, it's just been cut. And there's the side that's been finished. The vehicle's been corrected. You've just seen me go around with a panel wipe, so now there is no oily residue left over from the compound on the surface of the paintwork, which means it's ready to accept a ceramic coating. Now what we're going to be using is Crystal Serum Light from G-Technique, and following that up with 2 coats of EXO, which is going to provide a lot of the hydrophobicity, said it right. Basically it's going to make the water run off like crazy. This will do a good job of it. This is your bulk of your protection against chemicals such as like bird poo, tree sap. This is the bulk of that protection, and slight protection against wash swirls, but not really. It's something advertised, but I don't buy it. And then EXO's giving you the bulk of that hydrophobicity and the water runoff. So I was hesitant about using this system. I had some, hence why I'm using it. But it is, of course, it's a 3-step method. You're going to be touching the paint a lot, which I was hesitant about with this being solid black. But having panel wiped it, buffing off the polish after the finishing stage, it's not that reactive to the cloth. It hasn't scratched or marred from those cloths, using new cloths every time, so it should be fine. In future I will probably be moving towards the Geon coatings, used them before, and they offer a 3-year coating with a single application, so you haven't got to go around with 3 applications of this. You could get away with just Crystal Serum Light, but as I said, you want that crazy water runoff. That's one of the big selling points of these coatings, so I probably will be moving towards the Geon products because they offer maybe not as much protection, but they offer a lot of protection and the hydrophobicity all in that one step, so that's definitely something I'll be looking at. But for now we're going to be using this. It works amazingly, it does the job, it's very durable, so we'll be using this. It's just, as I said, that time factor when you're trying to knock out a car, that single step is really beneficial. Once you've applied the coating to your chosen area, I usually leave it for around 10 to 20 seconds and you actually see the coating begin to change on the paintwork. It almost beads up. This indicates that it's ready to be buffed off. When you're buffing off coatings, it's important to remove all residue, otherwise you'll be left with high spots that you won't be able to get rid of without machine polishing that area and then reapplying the coating. So I go in with one cloth, wipe off most residue, flip it, buff some more, and then flip to a second cloth, and I'm really buffing the wider area because obviously as you're removing coating, you're also spreading it around the panel. So you've really got to buff that wider area and get rid of all residue. As I said, if you leave any, you'll get left with horrible high spots. First layer of coating done. That was the crystal serum light, so that was the main base layer, offering you that main protection. Now we're going to move on to, while that cures up, we're going to move on to the soft top restoration. It's clean, but there's a lot of stain in there from when it's had algae and stuff go on it in the past, dirt land on it. So we are just going to be re-dyeing it with this canvas restorer. I've had this sat around for a while, finally got around to using it. I've never done this before, so it's going to be a bit different. I'm going to try and get it on there with a paintbrush. I think it's going to be the cleanest method of doing it now that everything else is polished up and the coatings are curing. So we're going to get on with that, and following that, once it's all dried, we're going to be protecting it with this smart fabric from G-Technic. I've used this before. I've used it on interior fabrics. I haven't seen, other than promotional videos, I haven't seen how it performs. So it'll be interesting when this is sat on the driveway or whatever to see how the rain reacts with this. And I'll probably be using it in future as well. So yeah, looking forward to getting that done. We'll get the dyeing done now. That can then dry overnight. It's getting late now, so I'll probably end up doing the 2 coats of EXO in the morning. I'll get 1 coat of EXO done, then I'll get on with protecting the wheels, and then I will probably get this on the roof as well, and then we'll get the final coat of EXO done, and then it can all be left to set up overnight and be ready to dry the next day. So let's go on with it. the car is all finished, the work is done. I'm afraid I ran out of time to do any sort of cinematic shots of the car once it was done, but I've got some pictures, so I'll overlay them here. The coating went down fine. I did have a slight problem with the cloths, leaving a little bit of marring on the paintwork, which is a shame, but it was nothing too bad, and it's sort of what you expect on paintwork of that type. Due to that, I only decided to do one coat of the EXO top coat because I thought just there's no point touching the paint even more and possibly causing more damage after all the work we'd done. Of course, as you saw, the roof was re-dyed. I also then coated it with G-Technic I1, I think it's called, the fabric protector. So that should give up to 12 months of protection, and as you can see, it is leaving the water beading up quite nicely for an old soft top. The paintwork, of course, that's all beading up nicely as well, so the coating is doing its job, it's performing. But yeah, that's the car protected now, so with that soft black paintwork, now any form of contaminants, bird droppings, tree sap that does land on the paintwork, it will wash off easily and it's not going to cause damage like it would have done in the past with no protection on the paintwork. I want to say a big thanks to everyone that's watched the video. If you do want to see more, all my socials will be linked below. Also, they're linked to my website. If you're local to me and you're looking to get any sort of ceramic coating work or any other detailing or valeting work done, then don't hesitate to drop me a message or to use the quote form on my website. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.